Hey guys, long time no see. I wanted to get more cleaned up for you, but I figured this would be a little bit more of an honest look of what I look like on a more regular basis, especially when I'm feeling the way I'm feeling today, which is not fantastic at all. Slept terribly and just, I digress. So I figured I would come to say hello to you guys without fixing my hair or changing to a shirt that doesn't have pomegranate juice on it. But as we have established in other videos, changing clothes is incredibly painful, and today is not a day that I could take this shirt off unless I absolutely need to. So people with CRPS understand how hard donning clothes is, whether it's taking them off or putting them on. So I know I don't look fantastic, but I still wanted to talk about something anyway. As a fairly newly single person, I'm dating around, meeting new people. Just, it's nice to be able to get out when I can, or even have company over here when I can. It's a nice distraction from these sorts of things, if and when I'm feeling up for it. But as people with either CRPS or any disability of any kind can understand, doing anything social with a disability is incredibly hard, and dating is already like the hardest social thing you can do anyway. It's already stressful enough, and there's plenty of things that make dating much harder and much more annoying when you have problems like these. So I know that's what I wanted to talk about quickly today, just so I can maybe give a voice to people who have been struggling with the same struggles that I've been struggling with, or just let people who maybe have dated someone with disabilities before, or are dating someone with disabilities now, or just are listening to me for whatever reason, just kind of shed a light on this for those people, and so they might understand what we kind of go through as we try to meet somebody. So here we go. One of the first and most shallow things that is hard about dating or getting ready for any social event is getting ready, which is again why I wanted to show you what it looked like today. Not only does getting ready take a lot of time, and it takes a lot of energy, and it causes even more pain. So at least for me, getting ready to get dolled up for anybody, I need a lot more of a heads up than I used to. I used to be able to respond to anybody's text that said, "Hey, what are you up to? Are you free tonight? Do you want to grab a drink? Like, let's do that now. I'll meet you in 30. And unless I happen on some lucky day to have already done my hair and makeup, maybe I went somewhere or got my hair washed that day and I'm looking relatively okay and feeling relatively okay, like the likelihood of those two things happening at the same time are slim to none, especially in the evening when things are worse. The pain's always worse as the day goes on, so we're at its worst in the evening. The likelihood that I'll be able to respond to a text from anyone that says, "Hey, what are you up to? Can we get ready and meet for drinks or dinner or something in 30 minutes, an hour, or even a couple," like that day. I'm even talking about that day. I can't do that anymore. I need much more of a heads up than that, and that sucks. I really, really don't like that now about myself, but I have to accept that. I used to be able to, shower every day. I did shower every day because I just felt, at first it woke me up, but I also just felt cleaner, more refreshed, and, a little more pretty that way. I cannot do that now. I'm lucky if I get my hair washed twice a week, and I can't take showers. I can't even take real baths where you're submerged in a lot of water. I have to take what my mother calls sitz baths, where you sit in an inch or two of water. Pardon me. You said water. Don't worry, we'll fix this in post. So I can't wash my hair that way. I have to go out and pay someone to do that for me, or have my mother do it, bending over the sink or the bathtub, which is incredibly painful. So as you can imagine, that crap takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and is not something I can summon and get together for short notice. So as much as it sucks, I have to turn down 98% of those invitations from anyone. And it's hard to explain that to people, especially people that you're just meeting, like, so they're, you don't want to really talk about the seriousness of your situation with your disability or with CRPS. At least what I do is I say something like, oh, like, as you know, I'd love to, but I'm not ready. I'm in my pajamas and my hair's not done, blah blah blah. And a lot of them who don't know any better, and that's fine. If they've never dated someone with this disability, that's not on them. Say things like, oh, just hop in the shower, or like, it's okay, just fix your hair real quick and put on some clothes and I'll meet you in a couple hours. No worries. Like, how long can it possibly take to shower? I've had so many people ask that question. How long can it take to get ready? Can it really take that long? I've had some people ask when I say things, even when I tell people who are slightly aware of my disabilities. I always try to be at least semi-forward, very open with that. Initially, I don't want to drop that on someone way later and make it seem like I've been lying. So everyone at least knows to some degree that I am technically disabled. But like I said, I don't necessarily talk about, quite frankly, how disabled I really am. For two reasons. I don't like to really think about that myself. I like to try and do my best to see myself as a functioning person, and it feels nicer to just kind of talk about regular things the way regular people talk about regular things. But I also don't want to talk about how serious my situation is right away unless I've been talking with this person or seeing this person for a little longer, and now I feel like they would be more comfortable with that, and I would be more comfortable with that. So like I said, a lot of these guys may be slightly aware of my disabilities, but not quite aware of how bad they are. So they ask things like, how long can it take? And they don't mean anything by it, so I'm not upset with them at all. That being said, it just sucks to have to explain that to people. At least at some point, you have to. And for some people, I say some, it's been a lot. This disability conversation tends to wither a lot of matches away. Let's just say that. Whether it's the second I drop it and say, well, I don't work, I'm disabled, this is what I have. A lot of them I get radio silence after that, which I try my best not to think too much about, because if they're looking for someone who's not disabled, I'm not going to get too upset about that, especially if we've just been talking and I'm not invested in you at all. But as more time goes on, the longer you talk with the person, the more you get to know them and start to like them. If that fading starts to happen once you delve into the seriousness of the conversation, it stings more the longer you've known the person, whether you've just been talking on the phone for a week or you've been on a couple dates and met in person, and then they start to kind of understand how serious it is, whether you've canceled on a million of your coffee dates because you wake up and just aren't feeling up for it, which I've only had to do a gajillion million times. People will get sick of this. This will get old for people quite quickly. And as some people with CRPS or any disability might be able to relate, it's not just short-term dating that this can happen, where this whole nonsense gets old for newcomers. It can get old for people who've been there for a very long time. People who care about you for a great deal, and people who you care about a great deal. That has happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to others, be it close friendships, long-term relationships, even marriages can end because this can just grind people down. Not in the same way that it grinds you down. They'll never understand how much it grinds you down every day, but it does grind them down to be there for you, to take care of you, to see someone that they care about and that they love suffering. That, I can't even imagine how hard that must be, because the few times I've had to experience that in my life, that is one of the things that I would rather experience what I'm experiencing than experience that. I'd rather be the person suffering than have to watch someone else suffer. So they suffer in a different kind of way that we do with our disabilities, and that can get hard on people to have to deal with that every day. So like I said before, the longer you've known them, the longer they've been in your life, the harder that is if they decide that they don't want to be the person sitting next to you every day and taking care of you, grabbing your drink when you need, tolerating you looking like this when you feel like I do today, which is more often than not, as opposed to dating a regular person who can put on regular clothes and who can shower with regularity. So while I'll always understand it on some level, it'll always be hard to have to repeatedly have people walk into your life, find out about all this, and choose to walk out because of it. Be it they be there in your life for a day, or a year, or a decade, that's hard. It's definitely one of the hardest parts of dating with a disability. What I will say, the hardest part about dating disabled for me, and this really honestly doesn't even have anything to do with any of the people that I'm meeting. It has 100% to do with me and my own feelings. But the hardest part about dating is finding qualities about myself that I find appealing and attractive enough that I think others would find appealing and attractive enough to want to spend more time with me, I guess. And that is totally on me. That's totally a self-esteem thing that I've been working on for this entire time that I've been struggling with this disability. I tell myself every day and all the time that there are so many qualities about me that don't just make me a good partner, it just makes me a good person. And that is absolutely true for each and every one of you. There are qualities in everybody that make us wonderful people, be it kindness or intelligence or generosity or a combination of everything there is to be good in the world. Everyone has qualities about them that make them worthy of finding people to love them in their lives. So I know that I have those qualities. It's just hard to kind of remind myself what they are sometimes, because I don't feel as pretty as I used to very often anymore, because I'm not as clean or done up as I used to be. That doesn't help. The fact that I can't pursue my education makes me feel, or even any kind of trade or job, makes me feel like I'm lazy, like I'm behind everybody else, and that I wouldn't be able to hold a conversation that people would find interesting and intelligent. So the hardest part of dating has nothing to do with any of the people I'm dating. It has 100% to do with me and my crap and the crap that I'm gotta work on. Because even if you do find someone to tell you how beautiful and smart and gifted and talented and whatever that they think you are, it might ring in your ears for a little while after they've said it, but it's not gonna stick the way that it will stick if you tell it to yourself. If you remind yourself how awesome you are, how special and wonderful that you are, how many different gifts and talents that you have to share with the world. You need to be able to tell it to yourself so it can ring true in your brain, in your mind, and in your heart all the time. Not just when some cute guy is around who happens to think that you are attractive in any way. That'll just kind of go in one ear and out the other. Even if they're there all the time to tell you how great they think you are, it just kind of stays there for a little bit. It doesn't stick the way it sticks when I tell it to myself. That's just been my experience. And from the older, wiser women that I've talked to, they seem to have had similar experiences themselves. So I need to work on reminding myself that even though I may not be able to hold a full-time job or pursue full-time education, there are plenty of things about me that make me more than worthy of love, that make me more than worthy of finding people to spend time with who enjoy my company and whose company I enjoy. So as hard as it can be to have to do all the things I just said to date with the disability, to have to cancel on people, to have to talk to people about serious things, to have to remind them that it's harder for you to do regular everyday things than it is for everyday people, those all make it harder to remind yourself of all the good qualities that you have. So it's the riffraff you have to go through to date and to find quality people to spend your time with. You have to weed through that riffraff, and there's now extra riffraff to deal with your handicaps. So you need to remind yourself just how great you are, how strong you are, how incredible you are, to deal with your disability, be it CRPS or any disability, you're amazing. You're incredible. Whether the people you are dating don't see that, you need to see that. Then you'll find someone who truly realizes how incredibly strong you are, and that's how you'll know that you found the right one. My mother said this. My mother said that one positive things about dating with my new handicaps is that I'll find some really kind, loving, patient guy who is understanding of all these things and can roll with the punches and is just an all-around spectacular guy. Not that I wasn't gonna find a spectacular guy before, but anyone who can deal with all this crap is a special person themselves. Like I said, it's hard to take care of the people that you love and watch them struggle with their struggles and all that jazz. So anyone who can put up with all this is a special individual themselves. So if you're dating with a handicap, at least keep that in mind, that there will be some special person who not only loves that the person that you are inside your soul, not in the handicap body that you have, but also can patiently take care of you in the broken body you have. That'll be nice to have that kind of person in my life. And I'm sure many of you can attest to having found that person already and how great they are. So I'm done. I'm done rambling. I'm sorry this took way longer than I thought it was going to. And I'm sorry it's not in like bullet form that I normally like to do about these are the hardest things about dating. Just remember that love will be worth it. That sounds so cheesy and so much like a dumb line from a movie, but my experience, that's always been the case. So I'm gonna put up with all this stuff until I find that someone someday. Life will do its thing, and I'm ready to take whatever comes next. So thank you so much for listening to me rant. If any of this resonated with you, or if you know someone with disabilities, please comment below or subscribe to my channel and check out the other videos that I've put. I would greatly appreciate that, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks again for checking this out. Bye.